Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. This is Miss Aisha Anwar from Biotic Academy. Hope you people are enjoying the journey of learning with Biotic Academy. Today, my topic is antibiotics. What are antibiotics? Basically, antibiotics are the medicines which are used to treat the infection which are caused by bacteria. Now, the infection caused by bacteria are treated by these antibiotics, which are basically made either from the fungal cells or either we can synthesize them in laboratory. Now, with reference to the antibiotic, we use another term that is called microbial, antimicrobial. What is the difference between antibiotic and antimicrobial? You can see over here that antibiotic basically refers to the medication which are specifically used for the treatment of infection caused by the bacteria. But antimicrobial are basically the terms which are used for the treatment of diseases caused by these microorganisms like bacteria, viral, fungal, or parasitic. These are the different causative agents of infection, and in order to kill these different type of pathogens, the medicines which we use are called as antimicrobials. Now, we usually say that antibiotics are used for the treatment of bacterial infection, but what about viral infection? Is it possible that antibiotics can kill virus as well? It can kill viral infection, it can treat viral infection. Now, here we will discuss why antibiotics are not suitable to treat viral infection. Why? Now, here we will discuss about the pathway, how antibiotics work against bacteria. Basically, antibiotics work against pathogenic bacteria by stopping them to make their cell wall, or basically preventing them to do protein synthesis. As a result, for the blockage of these two processes, cell wall formation and protein synthesis, that is basically lead to the death of the foreign bacteria or the pathogenic bacteria in the body of the person, infected person. In this way, basically antibiotics work against the bacterial infection. But what about viruses? Viruses don't contain cell wall, they don't synthesize protein. Instead of that, they use their host cells to replicate themselves, because viruses are not alive. They are acellular structures. And when they enter into the host cell, basically they take control of the machinery of the host cells, and they use the machinery of the host cells to replicate themselves. So in order to kill the virus, antibiotic needs to kill the host cells in which the viruses are basically replicating themselves, because outside the body of the host cell they are acellular, they are not behaving like a living organism. So they get their activity of replication by entering into the host cell. So in order to kill virus, we need to kill the host cells, and these host cells are basically the cells of the human body which are not targeted by the antibiotics, that can be very dangerous. So in order to kill a virus, the human cell harboring it has to be killed, and that is not obviously possible to make such medicines which will kill the body of cells of the human body. So viral infection are being treated by the antibodies which are present in our body. These antibodies know how to kill these viruses. They know the technique of killing these viruses. So antibodies are produced naturally by our body, and these antibodies know how to kill these viruses. We often heard these terms that bacteria or viruses or fungi are not now becoming very resistant, and now they are becoming not affected by the antibiotics. Why they are becoming resistant and how they are becoming resistant? What is resistance? Resistance is basically a condition in which antibiotic or any drug, antimicrobial drug, is not effective in killing these pathogenic organisms. You can see how this works. Over here you can see a lots of bacteria, and we use a drug against them, an antibiotic against them, and we can see that most of the bacteria got killed because of the antibiotic, but few left. Those who become resistant were not affected by the attack of the antibiotic, and they basically created some genes in their cell which gives them protection against the attack of the antibiotics, and they survived. Now when they survive, they start dividing themselves, they increases their population, and then they basically share their genes of resistance with some other bacteria as well. That is how the disease become more problematic for the doctors to treat, because the bacteria has now become resistant against particular type of antibiotic, and that antibiotic will not work over them anymore, and the doctor needs to change the medicine according to the condition of the patient. So how these bacteria how are becoming resistant, we have discussed over here. How we should play our role, we humans should play our role in order to stop these bacteria becoming resistant against the antibiotic. There are some ways by which we can basically control these bacteria to become resistant against these antibiotics. Basically, we are also playing a role in providing this opportunity to these bacteria to become resistant against the antibiotic by mishandling them. We are mishandling the antibiotics. Antibiotics should only be used in certain conditions. It should only be used when it is being prescribed by a professional doctor. Until and unless you are not visited and you are not prescribed by any professional doctor, we should not start taking antibiotics on our own choice. And we should follow the prescription provided by the medicine. If for suppose the doctor suggested to continue the medication for 5 days, so we should follow that prescription of the doctor, and we should not stop taking the antibiotic after getting or feeling better after 2 or 3 days. In this way, the bacteria become resistant to that particular type of antibiotic, because the continuous process of killing them got stopped if we stop taking the antibiotic after 2 or 3 days, and the rest of the bacteria will get a chance to become resistant, and they will get develop some genes of resistance in their cell, which will make them more dangerous for the body. Never use leftover antibiotics. If you have completed your antibiotic course and there is some antibiotic left in the bottle, no need to use it again. Never share your antibiotic with others, so that in this way the required dosage for the treatment of that particular disease will get disturbed. We need to follow the required dosage of that particular antibiotic in order to kill that pathogenic bacteria. Prevent infection by regularly washing our hand. Basically, hand, nose, touch, nose and skin. These are basically the ways through which this pathogenic antibiotic can enter into our body. So we need to clean ourselves. We need to make ourselves living in a hygienic situation, in hygienic condition, and we should wash our hand before eating or taking anything in our mouth. Avoiding contact with the sick people, because sick people usually sneeze and cough, and with their sneezing and coughing they basically gives out the droplets of those pathogenic bacteria in the surrounding, in the air, and when the healthy person inhale that air, breathe in that particular air, the person will also get infected. So these are the ways by which we can keep ourselves protected, and we can avoid making these bacteria becoming resistant to these particular antibiotics. And most important, be careful about the vaccination. Vaccination should be up to date, because vaccination is a very important way of keeping the body protected against these pathogenic organisms. Vaccination provide immunity to our body, and that immunity will not allow these microbial organisms, these pathogenic organisms, to divide in our body and to disturb our body and to distribute in our body. So I hope you understood the concept of antibiotics and how the bacteria become resistant against the antibiotic, and what are the ways by which we can prevent these bacteria to become resistant against the antibiotics. This is Miss Aisha Anwar from Biotic Academy. Take care.